Hey everyone, and welcome to day 2 of my horror movie review marathon, and I've got The Mummy 1932 movie review. Archaeologists discover a mummy, and once awoken, it tries to take control over everything. How will this turn out in the end? So as far as the story goes, released in 1932, this movie brings you right into the action, or should I say lack thereof, when it not only shows, but it tells you exactly what is going on. A mummy is found and is mistakenly brought back to life. Now, this is actually the first time I had seen this movie because I grew up watching the Brendan Fraser mummy movies, and I'm not even going to get into how I felt watching the Tom Cruise Mummy remake. And going back to this, I only wanted to see it because I had been a huge fan of the Universal movie monsters, basically where it all began in black and white, and I felt like, at least for what it was, there was a lot that was left out, I feel like, as far as the plot goes. At first, when you're watching it, it's almost like you're watching a comedy. I really felt like there were things that were lacking as far as the storytelling, and it would have been more compelling to show a lot more, but maybe they had a lot of time constraints back then, because I felt like it was a very fast-paced yet short film. Now, as far as the casting goes, you've got Boris Karloff, who is in the lead. He plays the mummy Imhotep, and yet he skulks around after he is resurrected as Ardeth Bay. Familiar with him? You've seen him before, just a year before this movie came out, when he played Frankenstein. Now, I actually loved him in that role, and I feel like, at times he did a good job in this movie, and, I really felt his performance, but I also felt like there were things that were lacking as well, and even some of the other cast members in this movie, they were decent, but I felt like they didn't really get a lot to do, like David Manners and Zita Johann, who played these two, quick in love people, and it just felt very rushed, and I don't know, it was just, their acting definitely didn't express itself as much as maybe Boris Karloff has, or maybe I just love Boris Karloff in general. So the things that I liked about this movie was obviously the set design. Considering when this movie was made, I felt like they did a pretty good job at depicting, this historical, like, Egyptian with the mummies, and like that whole scenario, even with the costume design, that all played out very well. I just really came here to have a good time, just have fun, see what kind of direction this movie was going to go in, because of what I had been used to seeing with previous mummy films, and I definitely was not disappointed. However, the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that the ending felt a bit rushed, and I feel like they were trying to cram so much of the story in. They didn't really know exactly which direction they were planning on going in, because I was left confused at times, and then, like, I wouldn't say I was bored with what I saw, but it just came off very just rushed. So even though I was still entertained to watch it. So overall, I would say that The Mummy 1932 was a pretty good outing, especially for the Universal movie monsters goes, and I would, recommend it, whether or not you were a fan of, the more recent mummy movies. I think this is still worth a watch, and definitely check it out. So I would give this 4 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Mummy 1932, and come back tomorrow for day 3 of my horror movie review marathon. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates. Come back every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.